All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and maybe one of the most misunderstood tools out there for building wealth, the self-directed IRA. This is what can really unlock a whole new universe of investment options for your retirement, way, way beyond the typical stock market. So let's dive in. So, have you ever looked at your 401k statement, the one filled with all the usual stocks and mutual funds, and just thought to yourself, man, I wish I could put this money into something I really get, like that rental property down the street, or maybe that cool local startup that's getting a lot of buzz? Well, guess what? You absolutely can. And this really lays it all out. On the left, you've got the world we all know with traditional IRAs. Stocks, bonds, funds, you know the drill. But look at the right. The self-directed IRA, or SDIRA, just blows the doors wide open. We're talking about real estate, investing in private companies. You could even become the bank and act as a private lender. The possibilities are just huge. Okay, let's bust a huge myth right off the bat. A lot of people think this is some kind of exclusive club, a playground just for the super rich. And that's just not true. The reality is there are no official minimum investment amounts needed to open an SDIRA. It's a tool that's available to any investor who's looking to diversify their portfolio. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to cover why you'd even want to go beyond stocks. We'll learn the one golden rule you absolutely can't forget. We'll spot the major red flags, figure out who these disqualified persons are, and we'll understand the serious costs of getting it wrong. Then we'll wrap it all up with a super handy cheat sheet. So let's start with the big why. Why even bother with all this? Well, it really boils down to two incredibly powerful ideas: control and diversification. And the appeal, well, it really comes down to three things. First, you get real diversification. When the stock market has a terrible day, your rental property probably doesn't even notice. Second, you are in the driver's seat. You have direct control. And finally, you get this incredible flexibility and how you actually structure your deals. Okay, but all this freedom, it comes with some really important rules. The entire SDIRA world is built on one single foundational principle. And if you can get this one thing in your head, you are already halfway there. It's called the exclusive benefit rule. And it sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Your IRA is its own thing. Every single transaction, every dollar spent has to be for its benefit and its benefit alone, not for your personal immediate benefit. You and your IRA, you have to think of yourselves as completely separate. So think of it like this. Only the IRA can benefit from the transaction. When your SDIRA buys a property or it makes a loan, the only one that should be getting richer from that deal is the IRA itself. It's like you're building a fortress around your retirement funds to protect them and let them grow, totally separate from your day-to-day finances. So how does this golden rule actually work in the real world? Let's get into the specific red flags and things you are absolutely prohibited from doing. The reason the IRS is so strict about this is pretty simple. They don't want people using these amazing tax-advantaged accounts as their own personal slush funds. So understanding what not to do is the key here. Okay, here's a classic situation. Your SDRA buys a rental property, a real fixer-upper. You're pretty handy, right? So you think, hey, I can save the IRA a bunch of money and just do the renovation work myself. So can you do it? The answer is a big, hard no. This is what's called self-dealing, and it's a huge prohibited transaction. Your free labor, your sweat equity, is seen as a personal contribution. It benefits you by saving money. The whole point is to stop you from artificially inflating your IRA's value with your own untaxed labor. Remember that golden rule? You have to hire somebody else, an unrelated third party, to do the work. All right, how about this one? Your IRA buys a beautiful vacation home on the beach. You're not trying to get a free vacation. You're more than willing to pay the exact same rent anybody else would pay. Surely that's got to be okay, right? Nope, wrong again. Also prohibited. The IRS just doesn't care if you pay rent. The simple act of you, the owner, using an asset that your IRA owns is considered a personal benefit. It's to stop people from just using their IRA as a tax-friendly way to buy fun stuff for themselves. Not for a weekend, not for a night, not ever. And this whole idea of personal benefit goes beyond just you. The IRS actually has a specific list of people and businesses that your IRA is absolutely forbidden from doing business with. This is the disqualified persons list, and it's pretty extensive. It includes you, of course, your spouse, your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your grandkids, It goes up the family tree and down. So your IRA can't buy a house from your mom or lend money to your son or rent out a property to your daughter. It's all about keeping things at arm's length to avoid even a hint of personal gain. So what happens if you break these rules, even by accident? This is where things get really, really serious. The consequences are not just a little slap on the wrist. Look, if you make even one of these prohibited transactions, it can be absolutely catastrophic for your retirement savings. The IRS basically treats it like you just blew up the entire account. Here's what that fallout looks like. The IRS treats the entire value of your IRA as if you took it all out as cash in the year you made the mistake. So it all becomes taxable income. The tax-protected status of the account? Gone forever. And on top of those income taxes, you could get hit with a 10% early withdrawal penalty. It is a total financial nightmare. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's a potential 100% tax on the amount of the transaction itself if you don't correct it. The takeaway here is really simple. The stakes are incredibly high. You have to get this right. Okay, I know that was a ton of information, and some of it was pretty scary. So let's just boil it all down into a simple, straightforward cheat sheet to keep you on the right path. Here you go. On the left, your do's. Always, always keep transactions at arm's length. Make sure the IRA pays its own bills directly from its own account. Hire professionals for any work. And please, if you're ever in doubt, ask an expert. On the right, the big don'ts. No self-dealing, no sweat equity. Don't personally guarantee loans for the IRA. Don't let any disqualified people use the assets. And never, ever, ever pay for an IRA expense with your personal money. Look, don't get me wrong. A self-directed IRA can be an absolute game changer. It gives you incredible control and diversification for your retirement. The key is just to respect the rules that are there to protect its amazing tax advantages. So, with these guardrails in place, a whole new world of investing is now open to you, one that you get to control directly. Which really just leaves one question. What alternative asset are you going to go explore first?